Welcome students. I am Sangeeta Sharma, your English teacher. Today we will study poem The Hero, chapter 3 in your Mulberry book. Topics to be covered in this video are introduction of the poem, introduction of the poet, explanation of the poem, summary of the poem, exercise discussion and assignment. So students, our poem name is The Hero and the poet name is Rabindranath Tagore. Before starting the poem, I want to give the introduction of Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was born in Kolkata into a prominent family which took keen interest in literature and culture. He started writing poetry at the age of 8. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913 for his collection of poems Gitanjali. Tagore was awarded knighthood in 1915, which he gave up in 1919 in protest to British policies in India. I want to give you the introduction of the poem. After that, we will start our poem. The speaker in the poem is a young boy who imagines that while traveling with his mother across a deserted wasteland, he is attacked by bandits. He imagines that he fights the bandits and saves his mother, earns her gratitude, wins praise from his brother, and astonishes all the villagers by his bravery. Returning to reality, he regrets that such things do not come true in the dull routine of his days. So this poem is all about this boy. He imagines such kind of things. So now I will explain the poem line by line so that you understand well. So this is our stanza 1 of the poem. First I will read. Mother, let us imagine we are traveling and passing through a strange and dangerous country. You are riding in a palanquin and I am trotting by you on a red horse. It is evening and the sun goes down. The waste of Joradighi lies wan and grey before us. The land is desolate and barren. You are frightened and thinking, I know not where we have come to. I say to you, mother, do not be afraid. So in this stanza, the speaker addresses his mother and asks her to imagine that they are traveling and passing through a strange and dangerous stretch of countryside. In the speaker's imagination, his mother is riding in a palanquin and he is trotting alongside on a red-brown horse. It is evening and the sun sets. The wasteland of Joradighi is in front of them, dull grey and barren. He imagines his mother feeling lost and afraid while he courageously tells her not to be afraid. Stanza 2. The meadow is prickly with spiky grass, and through it runs a narrow broken path. There are no cattle to be seen in the wide field. They have gone to their village stalls. It grows dark and dim on the land and sky, and we cannot tell where we are going. Suddenly you call me and ask me in a whisper, what light is that near the bank? Now I am explaining. The speaker asks his mother to picture them going down a narrow broken path through a meadow prickly with spiky grass. It is desolate, and there is not even cattle to be seen, as it is evening and they have returned to their village shelters. The land and the sky grow increasingly dim. The light fades and it gets dark, and it is difficult to see where they are going. The boy imagines the mother turning to him in sudden fear and asking in a whisper what a light near the bank could be. So this is all about stanza 2. Stanza 3. Just then there burst out a fearful yell, and figures come running towards us. You sit crouched in your palanquin and repeat the names of the gods in prayer. The bearers, shaking in terror, hide themselves in the thorny bush. I shout to you, don't be afraid, mother, I am here. Now explanation of this stanza. The boy then builds on his fantasy by telling his mother that fearful yells burst out as figures run towards them. The mother hides fearfully inside her palanquin and begins to pray. The palanquin wearers, trembling with fear, hide in the thorny bushes. In his imagination, only the boy is unafraid, and he shouts reassuringly to his mother, saying that she should not be afraid because he was there to protect her. I am reading stanza 4 and 5. After that, I will explain these stanzas. With long sticks on their hands and hair all wild about their heads, they come nearer and nearer. I shout, have a care, you villains. One step more and you are dead men. They give another terrible yell and rush forward. You clutch my hand and say, dear boy, for heaven's sake, keep away from them. I say, mother, just you watch me. Then I spur my horse for a wild gallop, and my sword and buckler clash against each other. The fight becomes so fearful, mother, that it would give you a cold shudder. Could you see it from your palanquin? Now I am explaining. In the boy's vivid imagination, the bandits approach with long sticks in their hands and hair all wild about their heads. The boy warned them not to come one step nearer. Not heeding his warning, they rush forward. The boy imagines his mother holding tightly onto his hand in fear and asking him to retreat. In turn, he tells her to watch how he deals with the bandits. He imagines urging his horse forward at such a fast gallop that his sword and shield clash against each other. He tells his mother that then the fight becomes so fearful that if she had seen it, she would have shuddered in fear. So this is all about stanza 4 and 5. I am starting stanza 6 and 7. Many of them fly and a great number are cut to pieces. I know you are thinking, sitting all by yourself, that your boy must be dead by this time. But I come to you all stained with blood and say, Mother, the fight is over now. You come out and kiss me, pressing me to your heart, and you say to yourself, I don't know what I should do if I had not my boy to escort me. 1,000 useless things happens day after day. And why couldn't such a thing come true by chance? Now I am explaining. The boy says that many of the bandits flee and a great many are cut to pieces. He says he knows his mother must be sitting by herself, thinking that her son has been killed, but he goes to her all stained with blood and tells her that the fight is over. Then the boy imagines his mother coming out and kissing him, pressing him to her heart and saying to herself that she does not know what she would have done if she had not had her son to escort her. Then coming back to reality, the boy regretfully says that so many pointless, mundane things happen day after day and wishes that something like the adventure he imagined would happen. Now last stanza. It would be like a story in a book. My brother would say, is it possible? I always thought he was so delicate. Our village people would all say in amazement, was it not lucky that the boy was with his mother? Now explanation. It would be as exciting and thrilling like a story in a book. His brother would be surprised and would no longer think the boy was too delicate. The village people would be amazed and say that the mother was very lucky to have her son with her. So this is the last stanza of the poem. I explained the whole poem. You have to watch this 2 times minimum. Now we will discuss the exercise of this poem. So let's start. First exercise of this poem is quick answers. And the question is, give details of the strange and dangerous country through which the narrator imagines himself to be traveling with his mother. Fill in the boxes with the details. A. Land. The poet describes the land as infertile and deserted. It looks grey and dismal. Meadow. The meadow here is described as being prickly and the grass spiky. A narrow broken path is described as running through it. Field. The field is wide but no cattle can be seen in it. D. Sky. The sky is dark as well and the sun is setting. So this is the answer of your exercise 1. Read these lines and answer the questions that below. Question answer we will post on your portal as well as we will share in the group also. All these question answer you all have to do in your copy. Thank you students for watching this video. After watching this video, write your name, class and section in the comment box and watch this video at least 2 times.